Hi everyone, welcome back to my class. This is Rumana Ali. I hope you all are doing well. In today's class, I'm going to start a new chapter, and that is plant growth and development. So in this chapter, we are going to see the different phases of the growth in the different plants, and we'll be learning about the plant growth regulators and also about the seed dormancy and vernalization. So first we'll see what is the meaning of growth. So here whenever we use the term growth, that means growth of plant. In this chapter we will be discussing about the growth of plant, and this growth of plant can be defined as an irreversible permanent increase in the size of the plant or an organ, tissue or a cell. So this is the definition of growth. The growth in the plants or the growth of the plant can be defined as an irreversible permanent increase in the size of either the plant or an organ or in the tissues or a cell. So this is called as the growth of the plant, and the growth of the plant means either they increases in the size or there increases in their width. That means breadth will get increases. So in such a way, the increase in the height, width or breadth can be termed as the growth of the plant, and that growth can be achieved when the increase in the cell or the tissue or in an organ takes place. So the plant growth is indeterminate. Now the meaning of indeterminate is there are certain cells that are present in the tip region of the plant, and that cells, they are continuously dividing. They divide continuously. So that type of cells are called as meristematic cells or meristematic tissues. So as the cells are continuously dividing in the plant body, so the growth of the plant is indeterminate. Now the next feature is, or the next characteristic about the plant growth is, the plant growth is measurable. We can measure the growth of the plant, but measuring the plant growth is a little bit difficult process. So there are certain factors depending on which we can measure the plant growth. So the factors include increases in the dry weight of the plant, increase in the free weight, or increases in the size of the cell. All these are the factors depending on which we can calculate or we can measure the growth of the plant. Now let us study about the phases of growth. So whenever we talk about the phases of growth, the phases are classified into 3 zones. So this is the tip region of the plant. The tip region contains, or they are made up of some cells that are continuously dividing. We know that continuously dividing cells are called as meristematic cells. So as the meristematic cells possesses at the tip position, this tip region is called as meristematic zone. Now after which the second zone, in the second zone of the plant, the cells are present which are elongated. The cells undergoes elongation. They become a little bit bigger in their size, and that elongated cells are present in the region called elongation zone, or we can also call it as the zone of elongation. After which the third zone is present, in which the cells are present, and these cells undergoes, or these cells becomes matured. They got differentiated to perform the different functions in the body. So as the cells become matured and they get differentiated, that cells are present in the zone which is called as zone of maturation or differentiation. As a whole, phases of growth is classified into 3 types of zones. The first zone is meristematic zone. In that zone, continuously dividing cells are present. Next to the meristematic zone, elongation zone is present. In the elongation zones, the cells are present which are elongated one. Next to this zone, zone of maturation or differentiation is present, where the matured cells are present. These cells get differentiated and they perform different functions in the plant body. So this is about the phases of growth. Now we are going to discuss about the growth rate. It is defined as the rate of the growth per unit time. So growth rate can be studied by two main methods, that are arithmetic growth and geometric growth. To understand about the arithmetic growth, let us take one example. So here we are taking one parenchyma cell. This is only one cell. When this cell undergoes mitotic division, then it forms two daughter cells. In the arithmetic growth, what happens? These two parenchymatous cells, out of these two parenchymatous cells, one cell will continues to divide, the other cell gets specialized. That means it gets differentiated. Now, when this one cell again undergoes mitotic division, it again forms two daughter cells. This one is as usual, that means it will be the differentiated cell only, and out of these two daughter cells, one will undergo mitotic division. That means it continuously dividing, it undergoes mitotic division, and the other one will get specialized or it gets differentiated. Again, this would result in the formation of more two cells. In this way, one cell is always undergoing mitotic division to add up the cells, and the other cells are becoming specialized. They get differentiated to perform the different functions in the plant body. So this is how the arithmetic growth rate can be defined, or this is how the arithmetic growth takes place in the plant body. Now we'll put one graph and we'll take time on x-axis and height on y-axis. We can take other factors also, width or breadth we can take on y-axis, but here we'll take height. Now as the time passes, here this one cell, now when this cell undergoes mitotic division, it becomes two, then that gets specialized, then again as it is continuously dividing, it is increases. As the time increases, the cells are adding up and the height of the plant increases, and here the graph which we get is linear graph. Okay, one equation is also given to calculate the arithmetic growth of the plant. So that equation is LT is equals to L0 plus RT. Here LT stands for length at time t, L0 is length at time 0, and R is growth rate or the elongation that takes place per unit time. So by using this relation, we can easily calculate the arithmetic growth rate of the plant. Now we'll talk about the geometrical growth. So in the geometrical growth, what happens? Let us see by taking example again. So this parenchyma cells, it undergoes mitotic division and it forms two daughter cells. Now these two daughter cells will undergo the division again to give four daughter cells. In the arithmetic growth, we have seen that one cell will continue to divide and the other shall get differentiated. But in the case of geometric growth, both the cells undergo mitotic division and they form four daughter cells. Then these four daughter cells, when undergoes mitotic division, it results in the formation of 8 daughter cells, and when these 8 daughter cells undergoes the division, it forms 16 daughter cells. Likewise, the cells are continuously adding up in the plant body and the plant gets increases in their size or in the width. This is about the geometric growth of the plant, where one parenchyma cells undergoes the division called mitotic division. It gives 2 daughter cells. These 2 daughter cells will again divide it and it forms 4 daughter cells. Then these 4 daughter cells undergoes division to give 8. Then 8 will undergo division to give 16. Likewise, the cells are continuously added up in the plant to form the different tissues. This is about the geometric growth of the plant. Width now. To measure the geometric growth, we'll take width. We can also take height here, but we'll take width, and on the time axis we'll take time. Now when we plot graph, at the time this parenchyma cell, initially it divides slowly. Then after a period of time, the growth rate increases, then at certain point it declines. This graph of the geometric growth of the plant shows three phases. The first phase is lag phase, where the cell undergoes the division in a slow manner. Slowly the division takes place. Then it undergoes the second phase, that is exponential phase, or it is also called as log phase. In this phase, the cell undergoes division rapidly. They divide rapidly in this exponential or log phase. After this phase, they are going to reach one phase where the cell division declines, where the cell division stops, and this phase is termed as stationary phase. When we plot a graph of this geometric growth, then we will be getting sigmoidal curve. This is the sigmoidal curve, and the graph shows three different phases. Lag phase means where the cell division takes place slowly. The phase in which the rapid cell division takes place, that is called as exponential or log phase. And where the cell stops dividing, or where the cell declines to divide, that phase is called as stationary phase. Here a relation is given by which we can easily calculate the width or the height of the plant, and that is W1 is equals to W0 e to the power of RT. W1 is the final size, W0 is the initial size, R is the growth rate, T is time of growth, and E is base of natural logarithm. So by using this relation, we can calculate the height or the width of the plant, or we can call it as geometric growth of the plant. So now we are going to discuss about the conditions required for growth. So basically, the requirements that are needed by the plants to show the growth are oxygen, water, and optimum temperature, nutrients, phytohormones, and light. So these are some of the factors or the things that are required by the plant to show the growth. The first one is oxygen. So oxygen is required for aerobic respiration. During aerobic respiration, ATP molecules get synthesized. That means the energy is released into the plants, and that energy is used up by the plants in carrying out many different biological processes. So this oxygen is also a very important and an essential requirement of the plant. The next one is water. Water plays vital role in the plant. So the water is an essential component that are required by the plant cells, or that are required by the plant body. This water provides turgidity to the cells. In the phases of growth, just before we have studied that the first phase is the meristematic phase. So after getting divided, in the cells the vacuole is present. That vacuole get enlarges, it elongates. So the vacuole gets elongated due to the turgidity provided by the water molecule. So in this way the plant cells become turgid, and the vacuoles of the plant cells becomes elongated. Then they enter the zone of elongation. Next one is optimum temperature. In the chapter photosynthesis, we have discussed that C3 plants require different temperature when compared to the C4 plants. So optimum temperature should be provided to the different plants so that they can show the growth, or they can grow easily. So in this way, optimum temperature also plays a very important role. Here we can take an example of C3 and C4 plants. Both require different temperatures. Both can show the growth in the different temperatures. The next one is nutrients. Nutrients are of two types: macronutrients and micronutrients. These nutrients increases the protoplasmic content of the cell. And the next one is phytohormones. Phytohormones are the hormones that are present in the plant body, and importantly there are 5 phytohormones that are recognized by the different researchers, and out of these 5 phytohormones, 3 hormones are plant growth regulators and remaining two are growth inhibitors. Here PGR is nothing but plant growth regulators. In this chapter we are going to discuss about all these phytohormones in detail. So these phytohormones are classified into two types. The first one is plant growth regulators and the second one is growth inhibitors. Plant growth regulators are the hormones that increases the growth of the plant, and growth inhibitors are also the hormones that enhances the growth by inhibiting certain other substances. The next and the last important factor is light. Without light, the plants cannot prepare their food. They do not perform photosynthesis. So if they do not perform photosynthesis, no carbohydrate synthesis takes place, then no energy is going to release. So the light plays a very important role in the growth of the different plants. So this is about the different conditions required for the growth. Oxygen is required for aerobic respiration. Water is required that provides turgidity to the cells. Optimum temperature is required to show the proper growth, and nutrients are also required to add the content in the cells so that the cells become turgid, or so that the cells get increases, and when the cell gets increases, the width of the plant also get increases and the plant can show the growth. So nutrients are also important. Phytohormones. These phytohormones also plays a very important role, and they are also required for the growth of the different plants, and light is also required by the different plants to show the growth. So this is about the different conditions that are needed by the plants to show the growth. That's all for today. Meet you in next class. Thank you.